Welcome, gents. Have you ever felt like people completely misread who you are? Have you ever met someone who felt like a complete mystery no matter how long you were around them? The kind of man who says very little but somehow says a lot. That's often how the world meets a Sigma male, and honestly, most people don't know what to make of him. Normal people tend to look at life through a social lens. They want to connect, to belong, to feel part of something. There's nothing wrong with that, but it does create a gap in understanding when they come across someone who isn't wired the same way. Sigma males don't live life to impress or please. They don't play by the usual rules. They listen more than they speak, and when they speak, it's never just to fill silence. That silence makes people uncomfortable, and because they don't understand it, they judge it. This is the brutal truth. Most people don't get Sigma males. They label them, misunderstand them, even try to change them. But the truth is, the world needs people like this. People who don't move just because others expect them to. People who find strength in solitude and clarity in distance. If you're someone who relates to this, don't shrink to fit into what others expect. Let them misread you. Let them underestimate you. You weren't made to be understood by everyone. You were made to walk a different road, quietly, clearly, without apology. And that kind of power, it doesn't need an explanation. It just needs to be owned. Let's get started, gents. Number one, they think he's antisocial, but he's just anti-bullshit. They say he's antisocial, but that's far from the truth. He just doesn't have time for nonsense. He's not hiding from people. He's filtering them. See, most people expect you to fake laugh at things that aren't funny, nod at ideas you don't believe in, and pretend to care when your gut knows it's a waste of energy. The Sigma male refuses to do any of that. That's why people misunderstand him. It's not that he's against people. He's against the noise that comes with them. Think about it. You're at a gathering and everyone's talking about stuff they don't even believe in just to sound interesting. One person is fishing for compliments, another is name-dropping people they barely know. Everyone's trying to look like they have it all figured out. The Sigma male sees right through it and quietly walks away, not out of pride, out of peace. He values realness, not rehearsed performances. So when people talk just to be heard, when they show off instead of show up, when they wear charm like a costume, he checks out. And because he doesn't fake it, people call him antisocial. But here's what they miss. He'll sit with a janitor and have a 2-hour talk about life, meaning and struggle. He'll connect with someone completely unknown if there's honesty in the air. He just won't waste a second with people who show up wearing masks. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. He's not avoiding people, he's avoiding the roles they play to get approval or attention. That kind of selective presence may offend the shallow, but to those who are real, it's refreshing. So no, he's not antisocial, he just doesn't clap for lies. He doesn't dance for applause, and he doesn't force connection. Where truth is missing, that's not rudeness, that's self-respect. Number two, they label him weird when they can't label him at all. People love categories. They want you to be predictable so they can figure you out fast. Are you a leader, a follower, the funny guy, the social one, the serious one? If you fit into one of those roles, they feel safe around you. But when you don't, they get nervous. That's where the label weird comes in. The Sigma male doesn't give off a clear label. He's not loud enough to be the leader they expect. He's not submissive enough to be a follower. He's social when it makes sense, quiet when it doesn't. One moment he's in deep thought, the next he's cracking a one-liner no one saw coming. That unpredictability, it throws people off. So instead of trying to understand him, they slap on the word weird. Not because he's actually strange, but because they can't figure him out. It's easier to call someone weird than to admit, I don't understand this person and it makes me uncomfortable. You ever been in a group where everyone's hyped up over something shallow, maybe gossip, fake trends, or some attention game, and there's that one guy in the corner not reacting? He's not being rude. He just doesn't care to fake excitement. That's the Sigma, and just like that, someone whispers, he's kind of weird, isn't he? But here's the truth. When people can't control you, when they can't label you, they'll often reject you. Weird is just another way of saying, you don't fit into my box, and that bothers me. The Sigma male isn't weird, he's just whole. He doesn't bend himself to match people's comfort zones. He's real in a world full of actors, and that makes people uncomfortable. So when they call him weird, he doesn't flinch. He knows what they're really saying is, you're different, and I don't know how to handle that. And honestly, that's a compliment in disguise. Number three, They don't know whether to admire or resent him, so they do both. People don't really know what to do with him. One moment they admire him, the next they resent him. And here's the strange part. They often feel both at the exact same time. The Sigma male doesn't even try to provoke that kind of response. He just lives on his own terms, quiet and steady. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't compete. He just does his thing. And that alone is enough to rattle some people. There's something about a man who is completely comfortable in himself that triggers other people's insecurities. They start questioning their choices. They wonder why his silence makes more impact than their noise. They look at his self-discipline and feel the weight of their own excuses. But instead of dealing with that discomfort honestly, they aim it at him. They call him cold, detached, arrogant. But deep down, they're watching closely. Some of them envy how he carries himself. They wish they had his ability to walk away from drama without looking back. They wish they could stay grounded when everything around them is loud and fake. But they don't know how, so they talk instead. In group settings, he doesn't jump to speak. He observes. He listens. He only talks when he has something real to say. That quiet confidence pulls people in, but it also makes them uncomfortable. It exposes the difference between presence and performance. The truth is, people are used to men who chase approval, so when they meet someone who doesn't, they either want to become him or break him. He doesn't care which. He's not here to be liked. He's not here to be decoded. He's here to live straight, move smart, and stay honest, whether that earns him applause or side eyes. And that kind of presence, it shakes people in ways they can't explain. Number 4, they confuse his integrity for stubbornness. Some people say he's too rigid, too hard to deal with. They call him stubborn, difficult, or even selfish. But what they're really reacting to is his integrity, and they don't know how to handle it. See, the Sigma male doesn't adjust his values just to make everyone feel comfortable. He doesn't agree just to keep the mood light or to avoid tension. He doesn't follow rules that don't sit right with him, and he definitely doesn't smile and nod when something feels wrong in his gut. That kind of backbone, it shakes people. Most people are used to going along with the crowd. Even when something feels off, they stay quiet. They go with what's popular, not what's right. And they expect others to do the same. So when they meet someone who calmly refuses to bend, it rattles them. He'll walk away from a deal if it doesn't sit right. He'll leave a group if the values don't align. He'll say no when others would rather keep things peaceful by staying silent. Not out of ego, out of principle. And the truth is that offends people, especially those who base their sense of right and wrong on group approval. His refusal to play along makes them feel exposed, like their silence, their compromise, their people-pleasing is being silently judged, even when he says nothing. They call it stubbornness, but it's not. It's clarity. It's discipline. It's knowing the difference between keeping peace and losing yourself. The Sigma male isn't trying to win an argument. He's just not willing to lose himself for the sake of group comfort. That offends those who bend too easily and regret it quietly. So no, he's not stubborn. He's just unwilling to trade his values for a fake sense of harmony. And deep down, even his critics respect that. They just won't say it out loud. Number 5, they interpret his contentment as a lack of drive. To most people, ambition looks loud. It looks like grinding non-stop, chasing goals back to back, constantly posting wins for the world to see. So when they see a Sigma male sitting calmly, not in a rush, not flexing anything, they assume he's lacking drive. What they're really seeing is contentment, and they don't know how to process it. See, Sigma males don't need to live in constant motion just to feel alive. They're not chasing the next thrill or trying to prove how productive they are. They understand something most people don't. Peace is not the absence of goals. It's the ability to be fully present even while building something bigger. He can be sitting quietly with a cup of coffee, completely at ease, while others are scrambling for their next move. People watching from the outside might whisper, he lacks motivation, or he's not doing enough. But they miss the truth. He's doing plenty. He just doesn't need to perform his hustle for applause. Most people are addicted to the chase. They always need something in front of them, a title, a high, a next level, because they're uncomfortable with stillness. But the Sigma is different. He's not running because everyone else is running. He's moving with purpose, not panic. His drive is real. It's just not noisy. He works, he builds, he grows, but he doesn't do it for the spotlight. He does it for the fulfillment. And sometimes that means pausing, breathing, enjoying the now before chasing the next. People confuse that balance with laziness. But what they're really seeing is someone who isn't ruled by urgency or ego. So when they call him unmotivated, he doesn't argue. He just keeps doing what most can't, living fully, moving quietly, and resting without guilt. And that kind of clarity, that's not a lack of drive. That's real direction. Number 6. They get offended when their manipulation doesn't work on him. Some people thrive on control. They don't always raise their voice or demand things directly. Instead, they use softer tactics. They guilt trip. They play the victim. They compliment just enough to get close, then flip it when it suits them. These are the silent manipulators, and they hate one thing more than anything else, someone they can't bend. That's where the Sigma male quietly ruins their game. He doesn't bite the bait. He doesn't chase approval, and when he senses a trap, he doesn't fight or argue. He just steps aside. That calm refusal to play along drives manipulators crazy. Imagine someone trying to use silence to make him chase them. He doesn't flinch. They send a message like, "I guess you're too busy for me now," hoping he'll rush in and explain himself. He doesn't. He reads the manipulation for what it is, emotional fishing, and he lets it float away. Or picture someone laying on guilt like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," hoping to box him into a corner. That line might work on someone else, but not on him. He listens. He recognizes the pattern. And instead of reacting, he disengages. It's not that he's cold. It's that he's trained himself to recognize when affection is used as a tool instead of a truth. He doesn't reward manipulation with more attention. He removes the stage and lets the act collapse on its own. That makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are used to getting their way through mind games. They call him detached or unkind, but what they really mean is, you didn't fall for it like others do. What they see as stubbornness is actually clarity. What they call cold is just strength that doesn't beg. You can't guilt someone who has nothing to prove, and that's why they fear him. Number 7, they assume he's lonely, not realizing he's fully charged by solitude. Most people see being alone as something sad, something to be fixed. So when they see the Sigma male spending long hours by himself, no crowds, no noise, no need to always be around people, they assume something must be wrong. They think he's isolated, maybe depressed, maybe struggling, but they couldn't be more off. For the Sigma male, solitude isn't empty. It's full. It's the one place where the world's noise finally fades and real thinking begins. While others feel anxious in silence, he feels recharged. While people fill their schedule just to avoid themselves, he carves out space to face his thoughts head on. Imagine someone who spends the weekend alone, not because no one invited him, but because that's exactly how he wants it. He dives into books, works on his personal projects, takes a long walk with no destination. Not lonely, not hiding, just present, just unplugged from the mess that drains most people without them even noticing. He doesn't use solitude to escape life. He uses it to sharpen himself for it. Normal people often chase company just to distract themselves from their own thoughts. But Sigma males do the opposite. They sit in it. They reflect. They face their habits, flaws, goals, and dreams without filters. That kind of self-checking makes them stronger, sharper, quieter, but never weaker. So when people assume he's lonely, what they're really revealing is their own discomfort with being alone. They don't understand how peace can exist without someone sitting next to you. The Sigma does. Solitude is his space to reset, not to sulk. It's where he clears out the noise and makes room for real growth. He doesn't fear being alone. He fears losing that clarity that only silence can give. And that's the difference. He's not disconnected. He's dialed in, just on a different frequency. Number 8, they call he cold because he doesn't fake warmth. People often say he's cold, that he's too serious, that he doesn't know how to connect. But here's the real story. The Sigma male doesn't fake anything, and that includes warmth. He's not the type to smile just because it's expected. He won't ask how your day is going if he doesn't genuinely care. He doesn't throw compliments around like candy. And in a world built on small talk and social fluff, that kind of honesty feels uncomfortable to a lot of people. Imagine being at a family gathering or some casual meetup. Everyone's chatting about the weather, gossiping about someone who isn't there, laughing at things that aren't funny. The Sigma male listens. Maybe he nods, but you can tell he's not playing along, not because he's rude, but because he values realness over routine noise. People who depend on surface-level warmth find that threatening. They mistake his calm honesty for being cold. But the truth is, he respects you enough not to fake anything. If he says he's proud of you, he means it. If he's listening, he's really listening. If he's quiet, it's not because he's judging. It's because he refuses to speak just to fill space. Most folks confuse politeness with sincerity. The Sigma male doesn't, and that's why they get it twisted. What feels like emotional distance is actually emotional discipline. He's not interested in handing out empty comfort just to keep things light. He would rather say nothing than say something he doesn't mean. That kind of presence exposes the difference between real connection and polite pretending. And let's be honest, not everyone is ready for that level of honesty. So when they call him cold, what they're really saying is, he didn't perform for me, and the Sigma male, he's perfectly fine with that, because what he offers isn't for show, it's real. And these days, that alone makes him stand out. Number 9, they call him intimidating when he's simply uninterested. People love to throw the word intimidating around, especially when they're faced with someone who doesn't play into their games. The Sigma male gets called that all the time, not because he's aggressive, not because he's loud, but because he's simply uninterested in nonsense. He doesn't do emotional tug-of-war. He won't argue just to prove a point. He doesn't chase people who walk away or beg for a seat at anyone's table, that calm ability to let things go without making a scene. It confuses people who are used to emotional chaos. Picture someone trying to get under his skin. They pull away to see if he'll react. They give mixed signals, hoping to reel him in. He doesn't bite, not because he's playing hard to get, but because he's not playing at all. If something feels off, he won't sit there analyzing every word. He'll move on, quietly, cleanly, without bitterness. That kind of detachment unsettles people who rely on drama to feel important. He's not cold, he's just selective. If a conversation feels fake, he ends it. If a relationship turns into a performance, he steps back. There's no loud exit, no need to burn bridges, just a quiet shift, and he's gone. People confuse that with intimidation, but what they're really feeling is discomfort. They don't know how to handle someone who doesn't react the way they expect, someone who stays calm when others stir up noise. The Sigma male doesn't play emotional games. He doesn't chase attention, and he definitely doesn't stay where he's not valued. That kind of clarity, it scares some people. Not because he's trying to be powerful, but because he's completely at peace walking away. So when they call him intimidating, what they mean is, I couldn't control him. And for the Sigma male, that's not an insult. That's confirmation he's doing something right. Number 10, they label him as too much or too intense because he sees through everything. Some people say the Sigma male is too intense, that he thinks too deeply, talks too directly, observes too quietly. But what they're really saying is they are uncomfortable being fully seen. The Sigma male doesn't skim the surface of anything. He notices patterns in behavior, hears what isn't being said, and sees the gap between someone's words and their actions. That makes people nervous, especially those who've gotten used to hiding behind masks or pretending everything's fine. In a world full of small talk and shallow distractions, his presence feels like a mirror. And not everyone is ready to look into it. He won't laugh at fake jokes just to keep the peace. He won't entertain a conversation that goes nowhere just to avoid silence. That kind of energy is foreign to people who rely on fluff to fill in their emotional gaps. They take his silence personally. They call his honesty harsh. They say he's too serious, when really they just don't know how to sit with realness. Imagine someone who always wants to keep things light. But the Sigma male brings the depth. He asks questions that stop people in their tracks. Questions like, why are you really doing that? Or does that actually make you happy? Not to criticize, but to understand. And most people, they're not used to being seen that clearly, so they label him too blunt, too deep, too intense. But those labels are just shields, because deep down, they know he's not the problem. He's just refusing to stay on the surface where it's safe. The truth is, the Sigma male sees too much to pretend, and people either appreciate that or they run from it. There's rarely an in-between. But here's what makes him different. He doesn't water himself down to be more palatable. He keeps showing up as he is, eyes open, mind sharp, no mask, no fluff. And that's exactly what makes him unforgettable. Number 11. They assume he's unlucky in love, but he's just unwilling to settle. People love to assume the Sigma male is unlucky in love. They look at his single life and whisper things like, he must be difficult, or he probably can't find anyone who fits him. What they don't get is this: he's not unlucky, he's just not settling. Most people are so used to chasing relationships for the sake of having someone that they can't imagine someone choosing to stay single with purpose. But that's exactly what the Sigma male does. He knows the difference between being alone and being lonely. One drains you, the other fuels you. He doesn't entertain situations just to fill a gap. He doesn't get caught up in the dating games or the pressure to find someone before it's too late. For him, time alone is not a curse. It is where he clears his head, sorts his values, and refuses to bend them just to say he's taken. You won't find him rushing into connections. He observes, he pays attention. If the bond doesn't bring peace, growth, or honesty, he lets it go. No long explanations, no drama, just quiet decisions based on clarity. People project pity because they assume everyone's playing the same game. But the Sigma male isn't playing at all. He's not chasing someone to complete him. He's waiting for something that matches his depth and clarity. And when people see that, it rattles them. Because deep down, many wish they had that kind of self-respect, that ability to walk away from half-hearted attention, that patience to be alone rather than pretend something is real when it isn't. He's not cold. He's just sure of what he's not going to waste time on. He won't fake it. He won't settle for convenience. And he definitely won't lower his standards to fit into someone else's idea of love. That's not bad luck. That's power. Number 12, they accuse him of overthinking, but he's just seeing 10 moves ahead. People love to say the Sigma male overthinks. They say he reads too much into things, that he needs to relax, to stop analyzing everything. But what they call overthinking is really just high-level awareness. While most people only see what's right in front of them, he's already thinking 10 moves ahead. He studies patterns, he watches behavior, he listens to what people say, and more importantly, what they avoid saying. This isn't paranoia, it's precision. He doesn't live on autopilot. He wants to know the why behind everything, why someone is acting distant, why a plan doesn't feel right, why something that looks good still feels off. This kind of thinking makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to look deeper than they're used to. Most folks live on the surface. They don't want to ask the hard questions. They prefer easy answers that let them sleep at night. But the Sigma male would rather deal with an uncomfortable truth than build his life on something fake. It's not that he's anxious or afraid, he's just strategic. He thinks ahead not to create problems, but to avoid them. It's like a chess player who doesn't just look at the next move, but the entire board. He wants to be prepared, he wants to be intentional. And that kind of mental depth isn't common. Imagine someone walking into a room and instantly mapping out every possible dynamic, who's real, who's fake, who's hiding something. That's how his mind works. He doesn't say much, but when he does, it's clear he's been paying close attention. People misunderstand him because they don't think that deeply themselves. They assume he's paranoid when he's just perceptive. They say he's difficult when really he's just impossible to fool. Call it overthinking if you want. But he'll always be 3 steps ahead, calm, quiet, and fully aware of what's coming next. In final words, what do you do when the world keeps misreading you? If you're a Sigma male, you've probably learned by now that being misunderstood is part of the package. People will call you distant when you're just protecting your peace. They'll say you're difficult because you won't follow the crowd. They'll mistake your focus for coldness and your silence for weakness. But here's the truth. They only judge what they don't understand. Normal minds are wired for comfort and predictability. You don't give them that. You give them depth, independence, and a sense of power that isn't loud but undeniable. And to many, that's intimidating, but don't water yourself down just to be easier to explain. The fact that people don't get you, that's not your failure. That's proof you're not average. You don't have to explain your mindset to everyone. You don't have to soften your edges for people who only value convenience. Keep thinking deeply. Keep walking your path even when it's quiet and lonely. Keep choosing peace over noise. You were built differently for a reason. Let them guess, let them label. Let them try to make sense of a man who doesn't need their approval to keep rising. Because in the end, you were never here to be understood. You were here to be real. So to every Sigma out there, keep moving in silence. Keep doing the work no one sees. And trust that your path is yours for a reason. You're not wrong. You're just rare. And rare always rattles the ordinary. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.